So Henry, the restrictions on evictions, landlords not being able to evict tenants, it's been pushed back until March 2022. That's a long time, right?
It is a long time, but what's the alternative? What's the point in evicting all these tenants just as we're coming out of the back end of the restrictions that have been in place for 18 months? A lot of these businesses haven't had any income for a long time now.
I don't think allowing landlords to do a little bit more about collecting debts is stopping the recovery. Their businesses as well. It seems tenants have been allowed to just wait and survive. Many landlords have had to borrow massive amounts of money just to survive. It's not an even playing field.
It's difficult to talk about an even playing field between landlords and tenants without recognising 20, 25 years of upward-only rent reviews and the landlords holding all the cards. Yes, landlords might have to borrow, but they've got the balance sheets and the assets to borrow against. As I said, the tenants haven't had the money coming in. The retail, leisure and hospitality businesses have been crushed through this pandemic. What's the point of stamping on them just as the recovery is about to begin?
I agree. You can't get blood out of a stone, but the landlords, they can't make a decision for themselves at the moment. They're just waiting for somebody to come and give them money that they're owed. They can't take their property back. They can't force collection. They can't wind up the companies. They've got no leverage at all.
Okay, so flip it on its head. Let's say there are no restrictions and landlords and any other business can take whatever enforcement actions they want. There's not a queue of alternative businesses coming into these premises. The businesses, if forced, will close, will go into liquidation or administration, and there'll be no return for creditors. They're not asset-rich businesses which are going to generate a lot of cash to be distributed to the creditors in an insolvency process. So you push too hard, you get nothing.
But not all of these businesses can't afford to pay. I've heard many stories of people that are just not paying because they don't have to, and they possibly can. They're just amassing the cash for themselves. And I think the landlords, they know that the economy is coming back slowly. They know that some tenants are struggling, but they should be allowed to make a decision commercially on their own business models as to the best way to collect what's rightly due to them. And if the consequence of their actions is that they lose tenants and they lose money, then that's their mistake. But at the moment, someone else is deciding for them the right course of action.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. And from the tenant's point of view, there seems to be little point in waiting until the end of the ban on winding up petitions before you go and talk to your landlords. Why not start those negotiations now? It is going to be about balance and having to work together, as opposed to one side taking advantage of the other or one side enforcing against the other. Sometimes these relationships will have been strained over the last 15, 18 months. It's going to be about communication to make sure that those businesses continue to survive and prosper as we go forward.
I do think the 30th of September will be an interesting date when the winding up courts, in theory, open up again. And at that point, we don't know what the rules are going to say, but if there are unpaid debts and the landlords are allowed to petition, then tenants are going to suddenly face a bit more of an aggressive approach if they've taken advantage up to now.
Yeah, I think everyone's had the worst end of the deal. So let's make sure that we, as professionals, can help both sides through this problem. Where relationships have gone beyond breaking point, where the landlords are frustrated with the tenants, where the tenants are scared of the landlords, we can help to bring the stakeholders together to reach a mutually beneficial agreement to go into the future.
Yeah, I agree.